Welcome back to Inside Vroom. If you've got a pulse and a love for loud asphalt crunching machines, you're in the right place. Ford muscle cars aren't just about going fast. They're about making a statement that says, I don't do quiet. So today, let's dive into 10 of the fastest Ford muscle cars that are ready to roast rubber, burn gas, and make your neighbors seriously consider soundproofing. Let's get into it. The 1969 Ford Mustang Mach 1 428 Cobra Jet. Top speed 140 miles an hour, horsepower 335, torque 440 pound-feet. When the 1969 Mustang Mach 1 came out, it wasn't just a car. It was a whole mood. Powered by the beastly 428 Cobra Jet V8, this machine was designed to leave everything behind, including other cars, your eardrums, and possibly your sanity. With 335 horsepower and a burly 440 pound-feet of torque, it could reach 140 miles per hour and left burn marks in the road and in Ford's history books. And let's talk about that shaker hood scoop, which shook in time with every rev like it was doing a victory dance. That wasn't just a feature. It was a warning to any Camaro foolish enough to roll up alongside it. The 2007 Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500. Top speed 155 miles an hour, horsepower 500, torque 480 pound-feet. Fast forward to 2007, and the Mustang Shelby GT 500 made a comeback, rocking a supercharged 5.4-liter V8 engine that could put 500 horses down on the asphalt. This car wasn't interested in subtlety. It wanted to melt faces. With 480 pound-feet of torque, the GT500 was as likely to launch you into the stratosphere as it was to hit 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 4.5 seconds. This car came with the Shelby stripes, a front grille big enough to eat small animals, and an exhaust note that said, I'm loud, I'm proud, and I probably just set off a few car alarms. The 1970 Mustang Boss 429. Top speed, 135 miles an hour, horsepower, 375, torque, 450 pound-feet. Enter the 1970 Mustang Boss 429, the original heavy hitter. Built as a NASCAR homologation special, the Boss 429 packed a massive 7-liter V8 under the hood, cranking out 375 horsepower and enough torque to make gravity feel optional. If you had a Boss 429, you were basically driving a legal rocket with wheels. This thing looked like it was born for bar fights with its aggressive fender flares, bold stance, and the kind of don't mess with me attitude that could intimidate even the toughest muscle cars of the day. Only 500 were made, which means if you see one today, you might want to take a picture, because it'll probably vanish in a cloud of tire smoke before you get a second look. The 2012 Ford Mustang Boss 302. Top speed 155 miles an hour, horsepower 440, torque 380 pound-feet. The Boss 302 returned in 2012, and it came to prove that age is just a number. With a high-revving 5-liter V8 engine producing 444 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque, the 2012 Boss 302 had a top speed of 155 miles an hour and handled corners like it was on rails. This version paid homage to the original with its mean styling, including the optional Laguna Seca package that stripped out the rear seats and tightened up the suspension for the track. It was a don't mess with me Mustang that let its exhaust note do the talking, and believe me, it had a lot to say. The 1995 Ford Mustang SVT Cobra R. Top speed 160 miles an hour. Horsepower 300, torque 365 pound-feet. The 1995 SVT Cobra R. The Mustang that came with a no-nonsense attitude and a whole lot of horsepower. Ford's Special Vehicle Team SVT went all out, stripping out anything that wasn't necessary, including the back seats, AC, and even the radio. Because who needs tunes when your engine can sing? The Cobra R's 5.8-liter V8 delivered 300 horsepower and 160 miles an hour top speed. It was a Mustang built for the track and left anything slow in the dust. Only 250 of these track-ready Cobras were made, which means finding one today is like spotting Bigfoot. Rare and unforgettable. The 2008 Ford Mustang Bullitt. Top speed 151 miles an hour. Horsepower 315, torque 325 pound-feet. Inspired by Steve McQueen's famous '68 Mustang, Ford brought back the Bullitt in 2008 with modern muscle upgrades. This Mustang came with a 4.6-liter V8 engine, putting out 315 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque, making sure it could back up the Bullitt name with action. Its stealthy design, Highland green paint, no badges, and a sinister blacked-out grille was pure muscle car cool. It didn't need flash because the Bullitt let its exhaust growl do the talking. Every rev sounded like a soundtrack to a high-speed chase, and it could hit 151 miles an hour, ensuring it could keep up with its legendary predecessor. The 2015 Ford Mustang GT. Top speed 164 miles an hour, horsepower 435, torque 400 pound-feet. In 2015, Mustang GT marked a turning point, bringing in independent rear suspension for the first time. Yes, Ford finally gave the Mustang a rear end that wouldn't lose its mind in the corners. Its 5-liter Coyote V8 was also revamped, pumping out 435 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque for a top speed of 164 miles an hour. The 2015 GT wasn't just fast in a straight line, it handled like a dream. With selectable driving modes, tech upgrades, and a more aerodynamic design, this was a Mustang for the modern age. It proved that you could have both brains and brawn, a dangerous combo for any road it tackled. The 1966 Ford Fairlane 427 R-Code. Top speed 135 miles an hour, horsepower 425, torque 480 pound-feet. The 1966 Ford Fairlane 427 R-Code is a bit of an underdog in Ford's muscle car history, but it's here for a reason. Packing a 427 cubic inch V8, producing a monstrous 425 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, this car was designed with one mission: domination. Only 57 were made, and they were basically street-legal drag racers. With minimal frills and maximum power, the R-Code was more brawler than beauty queen. Sure, it may not have the flash of a Mustang, but when it hit the drag strip, it didn't need it. This Fairlane was all about proving that sometimes less really is more, at least when it comes to going fast. The 2022 Ford Mustang GT California Special. Top speed 155 miles an hour, horsepower 450, torque 410 pound-feet. The California Special may sound like a smoothie, but it's anything but soft. The 2022 GT California Special is equipped with a 5-liter V8, delivering 450 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque with a top speed of 155 miles an hour. This is the California vibe done Ford style, laid back on the outside, but with a power plant under the hood ready to party. With unique stripes, a blacked-out grille, and retro-inspired styling, the California Special is a Mustang that oozes cool without trying too hard. It's like that friend who wears sunglasses indoors and somehow pulls it off. This is a car for Mustang fans who want their ride with a little extra West Coast flair. The 1964 Ford Thunderbolt. Top speed 130 miles an hour, horsepower 425, torque 480 pound-feet. Last, but far from least, is the 1964 Ford Thunderbolt, a car so hardcore, it's basically a rolling legend. Ford stuffed a 427 cubic inch V8 in a Fairlane body and let it loose on the drag strips, creating a car that could sprint the quarter mile in around 11 seconds. Only 100 of these thunderous machines were ever made, and they remain some of the rarest and most coveted Ford muscle cars out there. With 425 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, the Thunderbolt's only real purpose was to go fast. No fancy interiors, no tech gimmicks, just pure, unfiltered horsepower. This car didn't just roll into the muscle car era. It opened the door, walked in, and challenged everything in sight. Ford has been crafting beasts like these for decades, and each one has a story that's as loud as its exhaust. From the retro Bullitt to the new GT 500s, these cars have shown us that sometimes it's okay to be a little extra. So for the speed junkies, the tire burners, and the "sorry officer, I didn't see the speed limit" types, this one's for you. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and join us next time on Inside Vroom for more automotive chaos.